welcome back to the shed. Today we've got a unique little project on. It's more of a light restoration job than it is the full-blown customs like I've been doing. So it's something that's quite unique. It's been in a family member's life for a long time. It actually belongs to their grandparents, so from the other side of the family. I actually really quite like it, so I'm going to take my time with this one. I want to make sure I get it spot on. I don't want to take away from the history of it. I just want to add to it and repair what needs to be repaired. I don't want to do any more than that. Let me show you what it is. Very quaint, unique little gypsy travelling wagon. So as you can see, it's missing the bars from the front here, which would go to the horse. Two wheels need to be repaired or remade, and it basically needs two of the axles doing. Obviously the back one, because that's completely split, but it needs this front one doing as well because it's starting to split as well. Also needs this trim that was hanging off when I got it, and it needs one for the back. General tidy up, and the windows resecuring because they're a little bit worse for wear at the moment. They're just hanging on by a thread, so they need to be resecured. That's the state of one of the wheels that's left, and I've got thankfully another one the same size that I can make a template from and remake. So like I say, it's going to be an interesting one. Follow along. I'll show you roughly what I'm doing. Obviously it's not going to be a guide for this because it's just, this is a unique piece. Don't know how many others are you going to have come up that you're going to have to repair. But as you can see, I've got to be gentle with it. This is all just bits of hardboard, so it's not the best. I'm going to replace it with something a bit nicer, but it's all these little tacks that I've got to get out of here, which are going to be a troubling one. And then give it a general tidy up. I've got to take these off as well, which are going to be fun, I'm sure. But let's crack on. I'm just going to give it a gentle persuasion to try and encourage this bit of trim off and see where it ends up. That actually came off a lot better than what I hoped it would, what I thought it would do, so I'm thankful for that. I'll get the tacks out afterwards. Remove this one as well. So the idea behind this, like I say, it's just a bit of light restoration work. It's a project that my nephew has asked me to take on as a surprise for his nan. His nan obviously knows they've got it because it was her husband's for however many years, but it got damaged in a move recently. She doesn't know that he's brought it to me to be repaired. So hopefully when you see it, Anne, you'll enjoy it a bit more. When it's back in its previous condition, all nice and shiny hopefully, you'll have a newfound love for it. But like I say, it's something that is wanted for Christmas. So even though there's not much to do to it, I still got to get hustling with it to get it finished in time, which I really want to do. I'm thankful that at least this piece of trim, even though it's got this bit hanging off, I can use that as a template for the front and back. So I'm thankful for that. It's just the parts on this front that I've got to come up with another design for, which again, I'm quite excited for because I can put my own little spin on it. I want to keep it in character with the wagon, but at the same time, I want to put my little style on it, just to make it a bit more unique. don't want to take it away from it though. I want to keep the character of the wagon itself. I want to take this carriage off. It's always fun when stuff's hidden away. Also, let me know what you think of the video so far. If you suggest anything that I could maybe change, add, improve on, let me know. I'm not adverse to change. Also, like I said in the original video to the whole YouTube thing, I'm completely new to this. So, yeah, if there's anything that you think would make the channel better, make me better, give us a shout. Let me know. I'm not going to be too aggressive with any of this. Like I said, I don't want to take away from anything, and I don't want to add any more damage to it that I've got to repair. So slow as we go is the way it is. Let's actually come off well. That came off a lot easier than what I thought it would. So that's what's taking that. These need cleaning up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make just some light marks on the side of the wood, so when I put it back together, it can be as close to what it was. But they're marks that hopefully no one will see. Only I'll know about them, you guys. Like I said before in the previous video as well, if there's anything you'd be interested in seeing me make, bear in mind I've got a very small shop, let me know and I'll give it a go if I can. As I say, it's a small workshop that I'm in, so bear that in mind when you're making suggestions. also let me know what you think. This wagon is basically original, apart from the wheels falling off. That's the only thing that needs repairing, and the straight bits and sticking the windows in. What's your thoughts on modifying these sort of pieces? Would you, i.e. put some lights inside it so it lights up to make it a bit more of a feature piece, a centerpiece even? Would you leave it completely as is, which is where, if I'm honest, that's where I'm leaning to. It's an original piece. It hasn't been tampered with in all these years. I have leaned more towards leave as is. If it was a complete basket case in pieces, then yeah, I could go along the lines of let's make it a little bit something special. A bit different, not special actually, because this is special in its own rights. But make it something different. But with this, I do believe it should stay very much in character of how it was and not change too much, apart from the new wheels that I'm going to put on it and the parts for the horse. So let's get some bits cut for the axles, and well, I'll go through my piles first, see what I've got in there for it, and also get a start on the wheels. Right, back again. So now I'm going to use a bit of pine for the axles, as I'm pretty certain that's what most of it is made out of. It's a very soft wood, it's not strong wood at all, not hardwood. So I'm certain it's going to be probably just a pine, which is why it's so light as well. And I'm thinking I'm going to use a bit of ply, which again, from looking at the side profile of the wheel, that's what it looks like it's made out of originally, just because you can see the laminations from the ply. You won't be able to pick it up on there, I'm pretty certain, because it's all painted black. You can see some on it. So I'm going to use the ply for the wheel. I've got a feeling I'm going to end up making at least 4 wheels for this. So 2 big ones for the back and 2 smaller ones for the front. Just because I think it's going to end up coming out a little bit too different, because I can't help it but put my twist on things. So I think I am going to end up making 4 wheels for it. It's not the end of the world. You know, I will leave the original wheels with it, or the 3 remaining ones anyway. And then if anyone wants to put them back on with the one that I've remade, then more than welcome. So onto the bandsaw, just going to mark it up for the axles. Or get them cut, get them right down to size, exactly where I want them to be. And then we're good to go. So I've got them roughed out. Obviously they're not going to be 100% perfect. It's a handmade wagon, so I don't want to make what I'm putting onto it too square, too perfect and stuff. It's not meant to be. It wasn't the character of this thing anyway. So we're going to keep it. I find that a challenge. So that bit's quite straightforward and simple. They basically just need gluing on. I'm going to hand paint these once they're on, rather than paint them first, just because I want to put a bit of glue underneath them first. So if I hand paint them first, there's a good chance the glue is not going to stick properly. I want to glue them and nail them, same as what they were when they were first done, way back when this thing was made. So I'm happy with where we're at with those for the moment. Next fun piece is the wheel. So again, I'm going to turn to the bandsaw for these, get them roughly cut out. Probably won't get them in a circle on there. I'll use my sander for that, just rough it off there. But turn to the bandsaw, just come out roughly. Right, I've actually managed to get them a lot closer to round than what I thought I would do on the bandsaw. So I'm quite chuffed with that actually. Let's check, see how they line up. Right, carrying on with the wagon. Got a few little bits and pieces done off camera, just to try and speed up the process. I know this video might drag on a little bit, but giving the old wheels a bit of a lick of paint, and then the new wheels, I've got them all painted up as well. Still needs a little bit of finishing off on them. Not quite there, but almost. The bit that attaches to the horse that I've made, that's all painted up. Just everything's drying now. Front axle, all sorted. And then the caravan, all the bottoms painted and that. Gone ahead and renewed one of the windows, got it all glued in place. Put new material in for the actual curtains because the old material was a little bit too far gone. Stayed with the orange theme just because that's what was in there, and I think it just keeps the character of it. So I've got another window still to do, which I'll show you. It's a very simple, straightforward process. But I've also, since I took the roof off, I've also gone ahead and done a little bit extra inside. It is something that's easily reverted back from, and I know I was unsure about doing it at the start, but I've put some lights inside there. It looks quite smart. Once the roof's back on, blocking out some of that light, it actually gives it a really nice effect. Now they are temporarily glued in there, like I say, so if they don't like it, it's very easy just to give it a little bit of a tug and it'll come straight out. Not going to affect it at all, or even if they don't want to put them out, they can just turn them off, leave them there. It doesn't have any major impact on it. I've not changed it, I've not drilled any holes in it to make it any different, so we're good with that. So let's do the other window. I'll move you now so you can see me a bit better, or what I'm doing a bit better even. So there's the window. So I've cut a new piece of plastic just because the old ones were very discoloured again, so I've cleaned them up. Still using the original bit of net, and like I say, just replacing the fabric. All I'm doing with this is just giving it a bit of super glue, and that's it. So very, very straightforward. All I'm doing is a couple of dabs in the corners. Get it lined up the best you can. Well, the best I can, should I say. Ah, yeah, bugger. A little bit of activator just to try and speed that process up a little bit. And then I put a little bit under the corners. That's the curtain on. Let's put the blinds on. And it's just the same process again. So another couple of dabs of the glue. So I did leave the fabric slightly proud so I can trim it to the size. I've made sure these windows fit in this caravan perfectly. So now just give them a trim. And again, just a little bit of glue. Just helps stop them flapping around when the caravan is being moved around, or the wagon, whatever you want to call it. And obviously the activator does evaporate very quickly. So that's that one done. Try not to poke out the old one. So we're just going to whack it in here. And again, just the super glue. Very straightforward for this one. What am I doing? On that side. Because I use activator, obviously you want to make sure you get it in and down properly, quickly. So it can all set. Second window in. Obviously that frosting is just where the activator just chills it a little bit. It's all fine. And that's that bit done. So I've still got to do the trim on the front and around the door arch, also the trim on the back. So there's a few little bits and pieces still left to tidy up, but the main bulk of it is done, so I'm happy with that. Right, so get the trim on here next, I think. Again, bought some new one. It's very close to the original piece. Not quite 100%, but it's close enough. And again, just going back with the super glue with this one, there's not really much better that can do it. And I'm going to leave this long and cut it once I've actually got it attached. So that's all the trim, all the dressing done. Right, bloody Wally, I forgot to push record. So, not done much more than what I showed you. Last seen me, I was painting the wheels and sorting out some other bits. They're now finished off, dried. Actually, back on the wagon, looking pretty good. Windows actually turned out really quite well actually. I'm quite pleased with them. Trims all turned out good, and as you can see, I've got the front bit on. So, all good, happy days with that. Next step is to put the top pieces on, so the roof basically. These were held on originally with pins and then sort of like dress tacks, these sort of things, using upholstery and stuff as well. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to put some pins through them first, get them all held on nicely, and then for where all the holes are, I'm going to put some nice brass pin heads back in again, just to make it look sweet. So that's the next step. The only other step after that is to put the trim on, which goes on, if you remember, goes on the front and the back. Let me move you a bit more. Goes on the front and the back here. That's the step after the roof, because these actually go into the end of the roof. So here we are. Maybe I should start with the middle one. Number right is 9, yeah. So 5. It's going to be back in there. Try and get them back in roughly the same holes if I can, just because that will give me the best chance of making sure all the roof pieces are on and there's actually enough space for everyone, nothing's going to be uneven. So I'm going to dry fit these ones, not even dry fit, I'm just going to place them up there and see how it marries up. And then if it's all good, we'll crack on with the rest of them. This one should overhang slightly. So that'll be alright. Now overhangs just a smidge. Also gives us a little bit of a preview to what it's going to look like. That's even all the way along, I'm happy with that. So we can go ahead, crack on with the rest of them, get them all on. Then move you. Looking quite smart now. Bit of a preview. Obviously we're halfway there. Quite excited to see what it looks like with the light on once the roof's back on properly. I think the other one that kept bending, it must have been going into a knot or something. Got half done. You know I can't resist it. That's it all lit up inside. Don't let off much light, but it's decent. I can't turn these lights off because they're plugged in. Use your imagination. I'll get some pictures of it before it goes back in the dark. I'll post them up as well. But I'm chuffed for that. So now just a case of putting these in. Sort of hides the other nails and dresses it up a little bit. And again, this is what was on there, not these exact ones. The exact ones that I had, or that came off it, didn't come off it in the greatest shape, so unfortunately I couldn't use them. I was hoping to. That's why I've gone for the antique brass ones, just so they still look aged and they don't look out of place. And that is finally it. All done and dusted. All back pretty much how it's supposed to be. Like I said, they do actually have the horse still, so that'll be nice to see it with the horse. Don't have to be attached, but even just standing with it, back and lay sitting on the ground or prop it up, whichever way. But that's it. Done. Quite chuffed with it. Bruce turned out really, really decent. Happy with that. So a good clean up. That's it for another day. Thanks for following. Don't forget to subscribe if you can. Happy days. See you next time. Right, teleport you bye. That wasn't quite it. I forgot something. Whether you remember what I said to you was left to go on. Clearly I forgot. You didn't remind me. The trims at the front and back. So now it actually is finished. Wheels back on, trims on, everything all sorted. Lights all working. Happy days. Again, thanks for watching. See you next time.